Do you still have a cat?
Yeah.
You did a few days ago.
Is your cat? I was just wondering because your doors are open and your
Yeah,
cat's
it's fine. It's locked in there. Janine's in there.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Court ordered interview or court appointed interviewee.
So Dr. Dickey was appointed as an expert witness to assist on our case, to look at the standard under the guardianship under the mental health statute as to whether or not you meet the standard for short-term certification, specifically as we spoke about.
Okay.
Diagnosis, also whether you're gravely disabled and whether you're in the voluntary involuntary component. I think specifically.
I had misunderstood that. I've been under the impression we were testing for schizophrenia and autism, the central axis of the diagnosis case in hand.
And we can talk about that. That's one of three things that need to be proved. That you have to establish certification. They have to prove that
They're disabled, dangerous self, others, dangerous self.
that you're suffering from mental illness and that you meet one of those three criteria, which they're only looking at grave disability and the issue of voluntary versus involuntary, which means that even if you've accepted voluntary treatment, there's reason to believe that but for the certification you would it's likely that you would not.
Is there any reason to assume that why would I be willing to accept voluntary treatment if I was not certified to begin with? I don't see why that would ever be logical.
So I would say 95% of people, it's a guess, it's not a straight number. 95% of people with mental illness aren't under certification. They just work with their doctors and they are treated on an outpatient basis.
And let me ask you, some ballpark figures. How many people out in the United States are working with MHCD? Is it a couple of those?
I don't know.
10%, 20% ballpark?
Well, it's just Denver, but I don't know how many. But most people that are.
And how many of those are voluntary, how many are involuntary? Do you have any ballpark figures?
I did ask one of the doctors once about that, and he told me it changes from time to time, but it's something like 75% of the people that are with MHCD or WellPower are voluntary, that are not under service. So most people they sort of acknowledge they've got a mental health diagnosis, and then they just go in for treatment, and then they just work with their doctors without having a court case.
Let me ask you this.
Sure, if you wanted to see her.
Do they have grounds for believing I'm in a state of denial of my mental illness? I've been in denial about that for at least 12 years.
Yeah.
I've not been on record ever denying it for the last 12 years. Seriously, I haven't.
No, I don't think that's ever been an issue.
You've worked with me at least for 9 years, I believe, since Ogawa quit in 2013, I believe, when I won. I think it was 2013 or 2013.
Yeah.
That's 9 years, and you don't remember me ever being punctuated there's been times when I've thought that mental illness might be a prefabricated, pressurized form of societal influence, but at the same time I did not deny that it existed as a statically identifiable, concrete, interactive whole of its own, even though it may have been influenced by society, which was a thesis of Sass, the famous psychiatrist Sass.
I think you've had various theories on it, but you've never been.
No, right.
So,
Did you hear that, Miss? What's his name?
Dr. Dickey.
Dr. Dickey.
Why don't you have a seat, Ricky, and we can.
I'm almost never in a state of denial about it. I didn't realize it was about the Medina criteria or whatever, the CERT criteria. Because Dr. Dickey, I thought we were discussing autism and schizophrenia, which are the critical, relevant questions at hand. That's why I asked for an appointed specialist, because I wanted to get interviewed for autism. I understood that. I did not realize they had asked me to do something completely different. So I think we were at different vantage points of approach, and it hadn't been made clear to either one of us that I thought I was being interviewed for schizophrenia and autism. You thought I was being interviewed, and you were right that I was being interviewed for disability, dangerous self and others,
it's all of the
denial of illness.
It's all of the above.
Really, okay.
Yeah, because you can't be found gravely disabled if you're not mentally ill.
I am mentally ill,
Okay.
so is everyone else, but I mean, like, where do you draw the line? Where it becomes disabled, I assume,
It
right?
depends on how disabling it is.
I agree.
So,
And I won't interrupt too much, but let me just do this really quickly and then I'll leave it between the two of you guys. But just so that Ricky knows, just the definition of grave disability under the
Unable to
statute.
care for self,
It
issues
means,
in housing.
I'll just read it to you really quickly and then you guys can go for it and I'll just shut up. But
Alright.
it means a condition in which a person, as a result of a mental health disorder, is incapable of making informed decisions about or providing for his or her essential needs without significant supervision and assistance from other people. As a result of being incapable of making these informed decisions, a person who is gravely disabled is at risk of substantial bodily harm, dangerous worsening of any concomitant serious physical illness, significant psychiatric deterioration, or mismanagement of his or her essential needs that could result in substantial bodily harm. And then there's other stuff about
Suicide,
developmental disability.
medical injury, loss of housing, criminal arrests, lot of, what else would fall into that, more popularly, losing all your friends with being threatening, all those would fall into the more common instances of those, probably the most common being like medical injury and suicide or bodily harm. It's the old classic gravely disabled, dangerous to self or others. You hurt yourself, you hurt others, you're unable to function in society without significant supervision. You cannot, and that's the point, is I don't have supervision. Significant. I mean, how do you account for that? My caseworker seems to do once a week. Usually she wants to slip out after about half an hour. That's not significant
what's this
supervision.
about?
Significant supervision. I don't receive significant supervision.
Okay, well, I'm unclear, because you don't have your record
Sure.
yet, you haven't gotten the record yet, I'm not sure.
They said they were supposed to get me done by the end of the week, but I ran into a problem before they weren't acknowledging my court order because it was originally for Denver Health and not for MHCD. I filed a motion to compel discovery, court granted it this week. Their attorney spoke with them and with me and they're supposed to get it to me, they said by the end of the week.
Well, one thing I didn't understand at all from our first meeting, but I do have the reports of your doctors at Wellpower now. What is your status with regard to treatment there and psychotropic drugs?
I've got a record of taking three, about 10 years in a row without missing any injections.
What do you want?
Alcohol. It's pretty much been right the whole time.
was
2015 I was on Zyprexa and Abilify. 2013 I was on Vega.
Because the reports say that if you get off them, you get in a bad place.
That's not true.
It's not.
I've been off them for a period of 2 to 3 weeks. Nothing happens. In fact, actually, last time I was off them, the last 3 times I was off Haldol for 3 weeks or more. I got promoted at work, got 2 promotions, and learned register at Wendy's.
Okay.
How do you account for that? Probability. Give me some numbers. Go.
Well, could be that you just feel more energy.
And
Because
the point
they're all
being,
sedatives.
there's no reason for that. It has nothing to do with your medication. But when your medication works, it's not just could be, it makes me less energy. Is that what you're saying?
Generally, those drugs are sedating, and then they give you less energy,
Really?
right?
Sedating is not the correct term for it, but go on. I've explained this to you before, and you seem to understand. There's a difference between the word tranquilizing and sedating.
Okay. So do they tranquilize you?
Standard, yeah. You have to, they're tranquilizers.
Did you understand when I came to see you Sunday afternoon that I was working with Michael and trying to help you? You didn't get that.
I didn't.
You didn't get that at
I
all.
thought you were a neutral party. I would expect you to be a neutral party That's why your credentials are strengthened because you're a neutral party. If you were biased, the courts wouldn't accept it.
Well, I try to be neutral, but he brought me in to look at
Oh.
specific issues with regard to you.
Alright.
And you got a jury trial coming up here.
I do.
And that adds a whole new dimension to this case.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell them to go spread the word everywhere they can go on Facebook. Can I do that, Michael?
I wouldn't talk about the case on Facebook.
No, I mean, can I, while I'm in the jury hearing, can I tell everyone in the jury, go ahead and tell everyone, all your friends about this, I'm being railroaded by these clowns?
I wouldn't talk about your case on Facebook, I would just leave it at that.
You're serious about it, aren't you?
But, yes I am, but, I think you should talk to Dr. Dickey about the whole concept of grave disability and how you function and your day-to-day. What does an average day for you look like? How are you?
Wake up. Actually, the dishes are usually done nightly, but I wake up.
Let me ask you this. How long have you lived here?
About 2 years.
Okay, and you have a lease here?
Yes.
And how much do you pay for your rent?
Varies because there's a maintenance fee. Somewhere
Generally.
between $230 and $430.
Okay, how do you support yourself, Enrique?
I go by Ricky.
Ricky, how do you support yourself?
I used to work at Taco Bell.
Well, but you're not working now.
No, it's SSDI.
Okay, so what is your social security disability?
What's what amount?
I'm trying to
I
figure out.
don't know. My brother's never told me the total. I believe it's somewhere around 1,500. There was a COLA recently. I don't know what it is. I believe it's around 1,500.
Who's your payee? Your brother?
No, my brother. Yeah, I think
What's his name?
Marshall.
That's good information.
Yeah,
You
so
mind
that-
if I talk to Marshall?
You're not allowed to now.
Why is that?
I wouldn't let you.
But why?
We're just going to release a boy and if he's found in court, he's dismissed immediately without it.
I didn't hear that.
I said I'll fire you if you try it. I'll have you disbarred.
You have me
I
disbarred.
think I can or can't. Try me.
Why do you get into this oppositional
I'm
place?
asking you why you think a violation of HIPAA is appropriate.
I asked if you have, give me
You're trying to
permission.
assuage me into violating
And you
HIPAA
said-
against my will. That's a
No.
strike, Michael. Bear that in witness. He's trying to assuage me into violating HIPAA without my consent and trying to practice medical intimidation, psychiatric intimidation, physical intimidation, sexual intimidation.
Ricky.
This is what gets him into trouble with people like me.
Ricky, I think that maybe you can explain a little bit why you don't want your brother to know.
This is a violation of HIPAA and voting right to know.
What are you afraid of?
So I didn't have to answer that. It's a violation of HIPAA. You didn't even seem to know about HIPAA. That's why I kind of wonder about you guys. I don't have Alzheimer's. I don't have Wernicke. I don't have Christopher
So,
Jacob.
When you get into these situations at work, and there's some mistrusting, you can't be helpful to.
They don't try to get me to violate HIPAA because they know what they're doing.
No, we're not talking about it here.
You're talking about violating HIPAA. They never asked me to do that. That's because they're professionals.
Okay. How long ago was it when you left Wendy's?
In Wendy's, Taco Bell, man.
I beg your pardon?
Taco Bell.
Okay, your last job, how long?
Taco Bell. About 2.5 months, closer to 3.
So, can you make ends meet on your 1,500 or?
Yeah, easily. Quite a bit left over.
Okay. How come the rents here are, you say it's 250 or?
It varies, 230.
It's pretty reasonable.
It's usually a lot higher. It varies.
And you get housing assistance?
Yes, I
why it's 233.
It's what number?
He has section 8, that's why
On
it's so
average,
low.
it's closer to 383.
Yeah, otherwise it'd be a lot.
It's closer to 392 on average. There's a miscellaneous fee which drives it up monthly. It's always variable. I never know about it till the end of the month. That's why I can't quote it per month until the end of the month.
Now, is your brother, last time I was with you, you told me you hated your father. Have
I
you talked-
do, he's a pedophile.
He's a pedophile.
He's a pedophile.
And
He's a narcissist, and he's a whole bunch of things. He's bipolar. A lot of things wrong with him.
Okay, well, is he, was your brother, what's your brother's name?
Marshall, you just asked me.
Oh, yeah, I got it. So was he adopted along with you, or what?
No, he's natural born.
He's natural born?
Yes.
He must care quite about you.
No, there's no reason to assume that. There's no reason not to assume either, but there's no reason to assume either.
Well, he was willing to take on the burden of being the payee.
If you understand how little of an obligation that means, you see it doesn't really mean that much. More or less about 5-10 minutes of paperwork a week, and about one visit every 2 weeks.
So does Marshall visit you?
Once every 1 to 2 weeks, yes.
What's your relationship like with him?
I don't like him, but that's all.
Why don't you like him?
Why is that?
That's the, why don't you like him?
Why?
Why did I say that?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a relevant question.
Why would that matter?
Do you have anybody in your family that you can work with?
No.
Okay? That's a sad situation,
It's
isn't
not
it?
my problem, is it?
Yeah, it is your
Well, it's
problem.
my problem, it's also not my fault, so deal with it.
Nobody said it was your
You
fault.
seem to imply that, because you think it's sad, because all the burden falls on me. It doesn't. It's their problem, they're old and retired, it's their problem too.
Marshall,
This
Does
is
he
confrontational, Michael, and I don't like it, because these questions are biased. They tend to favor every other party instead of me. Do you recognize the bias in this, the sort of psychiatric leaning of insinuation that somehow?
I think he's just trying to get some background information on
Sounds
who
like the DA.
important people are in your life.
Alright, go on, mister, I forgot your name.
It's Dr. Vicky.
Vicky, alright. Alright, go on, Dr. Vicky. I'm sorry you have, Wernicke's.
you sorry what?
You have dementia in 4 or 5 different stages.
You're sorry that I have dementia?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever have hallucinations or delusions?
Very seldom. Once in a while I'll see things like the corner of that room kind of invert. You know how it's an optical illusion that, like they'll show you a cube and they'll say this cube inward or outward. You ever seen those by Escher? And they do those arc diagrams? Sometimes I'll see the corner of the room invert. And it seems like everything's like pushing out instead of pushing in. I have like things like that.
Okay. How about people? You ever see people that might not be here? You ever talk to you?
I make believe that my pillows are my wife and I miss her. And honestly, that you should feel sorry for me like you usually do.
Do you have a wife?
Yes. So her name is Cynthia Smith. She's on Facebook. She changed her name from Jones to Smith.
Where's Cynthia?
She's in Longmont.
She's in Longmont?
Yes.
How old is she?
I believe she's 25 or 23. I've never actually seen her birth certificate.
She's quite a bit younger than you.
Yes, she is.
When's the last time you saw her?
I want to say 5 months ago.
So she came to visit you, or
You
you?
did my apartment, yes.
How long have you been married to Cynthia?
About, I believe, a year and 1 month.
So how come the estrangement? How come you don't see each other? You haven't seen her for
Estrangement. More like I'm estranged from my parents. I talk to Cynthia all the time on Facebook.
But you don't spend time with her much.
Spend all the time with her on Facebook. All
No,
the time.
not physically.
not physically, but we do what we can.
How did you meet her?
On Facebook, just another friend. She texted me some stuff, I texted her back. Pretty soon we were talking about intimacy. Then about 2 weeks later we were dating, and 3 weeks later we were married.
And then you lived together, have you ever lived with her?
No. In my mind, she comes here every night, but that's just an illusion, and we both know that.
Well, you sort of need that comfort, don't you?
Excuse me? That's a Catholic word I don't acknowledge. I like having her around, but she doesn't see me very often. I like talking to her. Who wouldn't?
What do you like about it?
She's very, very beautiful. A lot of people would say that must just be some dummy account until you realize I've got 10,000 girls on my Facebook page and all of my models.
You have 10,000 girls on your
I do.
Facebook, and you put them there?
What?
You put them there as friends or what?
I try to friend them, they friend me back, so I got 10,000 models / porn stars, webcam girls, / God knows what on my page.
What's Cynthia do for a living?
She's a hairdresser downtown, off the 16th Street Mall.
Hairdresser downtown Longmont?
Off the 16th Street Mall. She commutes down there from Longmont. I think she just takes 15 Colfax down there.
She works where downtown?
It's one of those salons off of where is it, California and 16th Street
So
Mall.
she drives all the way in here almost every
A lot of
day?
people commute that far.
From Longmont?
She's rich. She's rich. I know that. She lives in a 3-story house. She sent me $300,000 in my bank account.
She put 300,000 in your bank
She
account?
tried to. The bank account flagged it. And it flooded over the bank account. And they can't add them a secured deposit. It would no longer be secured.
So, but how come, if she drives all the way in here, how come you haven't seen her for 6 months? She comes in here all
5 months.
5 months.
5 months. Good question. She's busy all the time.
She was gonna give you 300,000, huh?
She tried to. The bank certified to it. Somebody tried to drop 300,000 in the account. Literally, it wasn't like a promise to pay. It was a literal payment. He wrote me a check for $7,500.
Yeah.
ATM actually accepted it.
And who accepted it?
The ATM. Automatic
So
teller
did you
machine.
get, so did you get the 7,500?
No, it didn't like, ultimately it didn't like the fact it was from a non-licensee bank. Because she works through a contractor in the East Coast, and they don't write, East Coast banks usually aren't acknowledged in the Midwest. If they're not, it's like a huge conglomerate like Chase. Because Wells Fargo is the bank I was using at the time. Wells is strictly local, like in the Midwest. It doesn't handle East Coast banks. And this was licensure through a subcontractor, sub-party.
So, do you mind if I talk to Cynthia?
And try and message her, and you wouldn't get her on the phone. I don't have her phone number.
Why, do you have a phone
'Cause I don't
number?
have her phone number. I used to have it. My phone got stolen.
So you don't have
Lost.
You don't have a phone number for your
I
wife?
used to have it. It got lost. The phone number and the phone got lost. There's nothing I can do about that. The phone should be here any day now. And I mean, honestly, she kind of tends to shy away from lawyers. But once she realized you were trying to help me, she'd probably say hi or something. Hi, yeah, I'm Ricky's wife. And blah, blah, blah. But he's really sweet. And I hope you get him to good right up in court.
I think this whole thing comes down to, the doctors that send you at MHCD don't believe that you, unless there's a court order, they don't believe you're gonna take, your tranquilizers.
I could. I kind of like it currently. I drink 2 or 3 pints of Hennessy. I feel fine. I mean, you should see us partially convincing evidence, but not completely convincing evidence. I'm almost never particularly late for my tranquilizer injections. Yeah, when I was working at Wendy's and they asked me to work full time, working at Taco Bell, I was working time and a half. There were times when I was late up to 1, 2, and 3 weeks, so forth. I did 7 or 8 times. Now that I'm off work, I'm always on time. I'm diligent. I don't put it off. I don't procrastinate. I don't give my caseworker hell about when I'm available and when I'm not. I just tell her, you set the date, you email me it, I will keep the appointment. Remember to tell them my phone doesn't work because I can't take a list of calls. Other than that, tell them to come to the door. I will tell them the day and time. I will be up. I will take the knocking on the door. I will go get my injection. Under that methodology, in the last 2 years, I've never been late for an injection more than, I want to say, a week and a half. And things have worked relatively fine. There have been no anger outbursts of any, a huge amount of pounds.
I get that. You know, I would like to say that, you know, this could be totally voluntary and whatever. I'd like to be able to say that.
Well, I mean,
I'm not
Hennessy
convinced.
makes it better. I can just vary the alcohol up.
Well, tell me about the Hennessy. That's whiskey, isn't it?
No, I believe it's called brandy, but
You drink, how much, you drink 2 or 3 pints of Hennessy a day?
good lord, that's going to kill a horse.
Yeah, that's what I
No,
thought.
I'm going like every 2-3 months, dude. A pint a month. Like, it looks like about the size of that drink they're holding. It's a little bit larger than that. Hennessy, I just drink that, I'm fine. No worries, no anger, no. I had a little
If
bit.
you only drink 2 pints a month, you must just sip it.
I said, dude, it's 1 pint a month. It's more than 1
But
pint
that
a month.
doesn't amount to much, I mean, that's.
I'm light. I'm very light on alcohol. I don't drink
What do
much
you do,
alcohol.
just sip it?
Yes. More like shots if you know how to drink whiskey, the alcohol, but 1 or 2 shots a night and done. Take my double coated Tegretol and done. There's nothing hard about that. I
Okay,
do
so
not
the-
abuse alcohol.
The way you manage it then is you take 1 or 2 shots of Hennessy.
Yeah, I know
along
that
with
sounds
your-
fantastic. Alcohol just makes it go down smoother. It mellows me out, gets rid of the anger, gets rid of the frustration of having to deal with those doctors trying to shove their medication down my throat.
So you combine that with your Haldol.
Well, Haldol is new injections. They're not pills. You
Yeah,
gotta
I know,
shove
but
it.
it's in your system, so it works
Right.
it works pretty well then, right?
I can't imagine, according to medical experts, and I have Kaplan and SETA, there's not a drug-drug interaction between alcohol and psychotropics. There's very little of it. In other words, they don't really affect each other. Usually when you're on both, it'll make you even more tired and fatigued, but other than that, it's basically independent. So the assertion that it really fundamentally modifies the effects of the psychotropic is mostly, I wouldn't say it's a delusion, I would say it's patently false.
Michael's arranged a psychiatrist in this case by the name of Gold.
Alright?
And I've spoken with him, he seems very intelligent and
Yeah, I'm sure.
into this. Have you met with him yet?
So I just got the order approving him yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
I just gave it to him, so, and I was gonna talk with you about it.
Are you gonna do an interview with him?
Well, he was gonna do a meds eval to
Alright.
make sure that the drugs that you're on are appropriate for
Okay.
how you're doing, so he's gonna analyze like all the reports and talk to you about kind of medications and make recommendations, or he would perhaps be a witness that
You
would
mean
opine
you're
as
gonna
to
take a
what-
med level,
Well,
or
he
a
would be
drug
looking,
level, or?
he'd be looking at whether Haldol is the right drug for you to be taking, whether, and whether you need to take Depakote with that, or whether you need to do whatever.
I don't think there's much flexibility in that. You know, Haldol's been the go-to drug for the last 12 years, and all the other types hurt really bad.
So you don't mind Haldol?
I don't mind it at all.
Uh-huh.
The Risperdal and Vega hurt very bad,
So,
horribly bad.
so, let me ask you this, and not to interrupt, I know this is Dr. Dickey's interview and whatnot, but.
No, go ahead.
If you don't have an issue with Haldol,
No.
then.
Why do it? I don't like the police circumscription. Having the police on my back
Well, let me
after
get
the
to your-
January 6th shootout is horrible.
Sure, but if it meant that you didn't have to have, this is hypothetical, it's not saying what the court will do or not. But if you didn't have a certification in place, and you don't like Haldol, and you
I
acknowledge
don't
that
like
you have.
Depakote either. I don't like Tegretol, but I don't
Sure.
like Depakote.
Well, if it were just,
I'm neutral about
and you're saying that you acknowledge you have this disorder.
Mildly, I would say with one modification, that it was drug and food induced, it is not genetic.
Sure, but if it meant that you didn't have to have a court case, would you be willing to continue working with Wellpower and continue taking Haldol and working, seeing your doctor once a month or whatever?
I'd be open to it, yeah.
If you didn't have to have a court case?
MSTD is really useful because their caseworkers can help you find a new apartment that takes Section 8 within less than a month, very quickly. The last 2 or 3 apartments I've had, I've all been through MSTD caseworkers. Isaac Arvizo, who was it? Isaac Arvizo, Laura Messenger, and I forget the middle one, but there's 2 of them.
So then, is your objection to the mental health treatment and itself and what Wellpower does, or is it just you don't want to have a court case?
The objection is to police circumscription, because people are hoarding. They'll come to your apartment with guns, 4 of them in
Well, they
cars.
can come regardless of if you have a case or not.
Yeah, but they're a lot worse when you say you have a cert.
I'm
They
sorry,
prove that to me.
I'm not hearing this. You're a lot of what?
Worse. They're worse. They act like
Worse if
you have a gun.
you have a certification.
They act like you have a gun, like you're drunk. Like they do a lot of bad things when they think you have a cert. They'll arrest you in a more rough way. It's just, I've been brutalized by them a number of times. False arrest, improper arrest without Medina.
And just a little background, Dr. Dickey, in his last hospitalization, it was pretty aggressive encounter involving a dog.
That was not a hospitalization, by the way.
Wasn't a hospitalization?
No, it wasn't. The court misrepresented that in the district courts, and I was very appalled by the fact that they did not even seem to have any forbearance that police intake on January 6th or 7th was not a psych hospitalization. It was never a psych
But you
hospitalization.
got bitten by the dog.
Yeah, that was not psychiatric. There was never a psych claim placed upon me. There was Medina later on, but that's for involuntary meds. There was never any claim for psychiatric care. In other words, I was never at Denver Health for psychiatric pavilion, east or west pavilion for care.
Yeah.
And I would have been if that was the case, and I wasn't, and that's the point. It was never psychiatric. I've not been psychiatrically intaken in the last 6 years.
You were in what they call their CCMF, which is.
But they didn't compel me to go there. I was in the HAP program.
I visited you when you were there.
I was in HAP, yeah, the
You were in
Help
there.
for Assisted Traumatized, which is basically a psych team. But they didn't compel me to go there. They said you can just stay here if you want, but you only get 1 hour a day outside of your cell. And so I decided to go to the HAP program. They said you're welcome to stay here. We have no problem with that. This is not psychiatric. They were very clear about that. You need to understand that from the bearings of this case. It was never psychiatric. They said you're welcome to stay in Commons if you want in the lockup with standard normal people if you want, but you only get an hour to I think an hour and a half out of the day, no more. That's all they said. I know this sounds a bit spacey, but that's what they told me. The only thing that saved me from that place was Taring, this nurse, and decided to kind of play around with me. If it wasn't for her, I would have gone on streaming. You know, those people were so repugnantly cold and offensive and businesslike and lawyer-like that I just lost my mind in there. I just lost a $250,000 estate. They had murdered my cat. They had, all kinds of bad things had happened. Ruined my rental history. Separated me from my ex-girlfriend Christina. They've done a lot of bad things. For someone who had lost his mother, his natural-born mother, on the birth table by cesarean section when she bled to death, for me to lose my girlfriend and my cat and my estate in the same day, for people they will claim to have an attachment disorder, that should be viewed as traumatizing. Right now, MACD refuses to afford me the diagnosis post-traumatic stress disorder. It confers It tells me that they have a level of ignorance and ambiguity and offensiveness, which is appallingly apparent, that they are just very negative and very unlikable. Which makes me want to be away, have the option of being away from them anytime I feel like it.
You lost your estate, what was that?
Estate. You don't know what estate is? It's like your assets.
I get that. You lost your estate.
Yes, that's your Crutchfield Jacobs.
What estate was that?
$250,000 estate I had at my apartment.
Why was it $250,000?
Because I had over $5 million worth of torrents.
You had $5 million worth of what?
Torrents. Torrented media. You don't know what a torrent is?
I guess it's hard for me to hear that.
No, a torrent.
A torrent.
Yeah, if you're gonna make fun of my diction, you can read.
It's a computer reference. A torrent is a file,
Illegally downloaded.
or a compressed file.
Usually they're not compressed, it's on.
Yeah, I didn't know, I've never
A
heard
lot
that
of
before.
information.
Never heard that before.
It's been around for a good 20 years.
And you had $500,000 in the torrent?
5 million.
Or
Right
five-
now I got over 50 million. Depends how you value it. If you wanna see what I mean, I can plug in my hard drive. It's got over 2,000 movies on it, in high definition format. Even that alone is worth about $20,000.
So that incident though, going back to that, when that occurred, that was, you left your sink on and it overflowed and.
No, it was not. It didn't overflow. No, not the shootout. No,
Okay, I thought that.
it was
that
flooded.
why you lost
It was
your
high level.
apartment.
It was not technically overflowing.
Okay.
It was at a high level. The reason they tear gassed and shot out the windows, I couldn't say. They knew they had a cat in there, so they kept saying it through the door. And then suddenly they decided, oh, we can just shoot out the window and tear gas the apartment. For some reason, the tear gas is not going to eat out the lungs of the cat. Well, it did.
Yeah.
Level of ignorance. How stupid is stupid.
Would you like to work with, what I'm hearing from you is you wanna continue to work with, Wellpower.
And why would I do that if they're responsible for the tort of harassment from the loss of my cat in the state and rental history? And they are.
So what you're saying now is you don't wanna work with
You
Wellpower.
know, why would I want to, I'm asking you, why would I want to work with a company that's responsible for a police bite by a dog, a shootout, murder of my cat, who was pregnant at the time? And that's like 7 lives, a permanent bite in the testicles, and God knows what else.
So, let me just understand.
Are you just asking me to like those people?
No,
Okay.
let me just understand that you're pissed off at them.
Well, you're pissed, is that the word for it? After it bites me in the testicles, you say I'm pissed off at them. Does that sound appropriate to you? If someone bites you in the breast, you say you want to breastfeed them.
Let me put it-
This is why you have workies, dude.
Let me-
They're inappropriate.
Let me put this to you this way. You're mad at them.
That's another reference to the dog, but go on.
You're mad at Wellpower and you
And
don't.
I'm powerless and mad. That is the quotation you're gonna use. Just kind of mad, doesn't have legal empowerment right to pursue Tara McGannigan in the district courts because I'm a North American Indian, not a South American Indian, even though my birth certificate says I'm from South America. Is that what you're getting at?
No, I'm just trying to get this question answered, okay? I understand that you're mad at Wellpower.
Use the word angry, 'cause it's more appropriate.
You're angry with Wellpower and you don't wanna continue to work with them.
I'm saying that if they're gonna work with me, they're gonna have to acknowledge what happened, and you have to let me pursue Tara McGannigan in the district courts and the tort of harassment and breach of professional obligation.
What if they don't acknowledge what happened?
Then I'll pursue them anyway through subpoena with the complaint to a judge.
So then you wouldn't be working with them?
No, I'll just pursue them anyway through subpoena, through a complaint with the district courts.
But you wouldn't have anywhere to get your psychiatric treatment?
Yeah, to get them from a physician, a PA, a PP, or a PCP. You know they can serve that? Of course they can. they're more expert in medicine than the psych doctors are. That's because they see more people and they're high functioning.
Okay. Mike, do you have anything else you need to talk about?
I'm not really all that sure. I think that in general, I think it was helpful to come and see Ricky one more time at least just to.
I think it was.
But yeah, and I know that Ricky can definitely come off as a little bit defensive, but
Yeah.
it's.
But most people would say that police shootouts is as bad as Columbine. You don't see people barking down Columbine victims' throats non-stop, saying, bickering whether or not you're angry, mad, furious, aggressive.
Here's my
asking
question.
to
You said it
retrust
was.
the state police over that.
You said it was not a mental health. Was it a welfare check, or why were the?
What it was harassment because they've been legally discharged with a formal legal disposition. I had called up Tara McGadigan 2 days before, said, I Q-tape, resist, rescind, and terminate all contracts, parties, duties, and obligations of MSCD. You're fired. And at that point, she no longer had a right to show up at my door. She did so twice. And the first time she showed up, I said the same thing. I'm done with you guys. I Q-tape, resist, rescind, terminate you. At that point, having been given legal notice for her to appear at my door a second time on the same day is to be considered as harassment. She is the tortfeasor. That is the tort. It's going to the district courts within a year, and she will be heard and tried for tortfeasor, involuntary manslaughter, Denver City Police and Sheriff's Department.
I'm tell you what I'm gonna do.
Take it not seriously like everything else I say.
I beg your pardon?
Oh no, I used to have a fart. Go on. You don't have to take offense to that. I don't.
I want you to talk to Dr. Gold.
Who's Dr. Gold?
This is this gentleman that Michael has arranged, a psychiatrist who seems very invested.
Oh, now let me tell you, is he Jewish?
When last name Gold, I guess he might be. I didn't
Oh, that's
ask
fine.
him, but.
I like Jewish people.
But-
Three of my girlfriends have been Jewish.
Yeah, his expertise is more in pharmacology. He's more.
In the med now.
So he would be doing the med as
So let me ask you this: does he have the right to persuade or override Bumal, whatever his name is?
He can't override him. Bumal is still your treating psychiatrist. So,
He can
but
influence him,
but
I
if he looks at it and he thinks that there's a discrepancy or something's not appropriate, then he can share that.
So he's a medicinal specialist, like a pharmacologist or
That's
psychiatric
exactly what he is.
medicinalist.
Yeah.
And
He's a
does he
pharmacologist.
specialize in schizophrenia only or just psych drugs?
He does the full gambit
Oh, like
of mental health.
Somatic, maladaptive, borderline, cyclothymic, dysthymic, frontotemporal, dementia.
Yeah,
Well, I had the sense in talking with him that he was invested in your case and will give you a fair opinion. Okay, so I want him to talk to you and then, I wanna confer with him before I give a final opinion, okay? But the issue is, as I see it, is whether or not.
We need to have Michael here to mediate it. It'd probably be a better idea considering how I get.
Well, I probably won't be seeing
Well,
him, but
Michael.
Dr. Gold will be talking to you somewhere, I don't know where.
It's just another interview, I assume.
I think that's.
Psychiatrists are not as forceful as clinicians because they lack the clinical expertise. In other words, I tend to respond to them better because I know I can process them in the courts anytime I want for sex crimes. That's not really the point. It's just that I tend to be more at ease with psychiatrists than I do with clinicians like you. Because you guys are more highly skilled at interacting with the public than a broader base range of normal people.
Well, some would think that, and others would. So,
I assume there are more normal people than I get to interact with.
that's what I wanna do, we're running a little short on time, we get 2 weeks to your trial, or what, yeah, 2 weeks, a little over 2.
I guess.
Let's start on a Monday.
It's, well, it's only one day in September sixth, whatever day that is, I think it's,
September sixth, you got 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks. So you're gonna talk to him, and,
It's a Tuesday.
it's a Tuesday.
Gold, is that gonna be over the phone or in person?
It's gonna be in person.
He's gonna come here?
It's gonna be at the.
Hey, recovery center?
No, it's gonna be at the courthouse.
Oh,
I
you-
gotta go all the way downtown?
Mhm.
What time?
It's, I believe at 9 o'clock.
At least that makes sense. I know
Yeah.
psychiatrists are like worth a fortune to the companies, so they try to protect them. Alright, that is hard on me because until my brother gets me an alarm clock, I have no way of waking up on time. But,
I mean, I can call you beforehand, but I.
it's pretty early, like around 6. It take at least an hour to get ready, an hour to get down there. 83 goes right down diagonal, about 40, 50 minutes to get down there.
Yeah. Well, maybe, I mean, you wanted a jury trial, it's gotta be in person, because the jurors have to.
So this is a necessary component of the legal process?
No, unless you don't want a jury trial.
And so, can you just email me the relevant information such as Dr. Gold's name, room number, appointment time, date, what to do if I have to reschedule?
We
Which
can't
I
re-
doubt I can do,
We can't reschedule the jury trial.
but, no, I mean Dr. Gold's
With
appointment.
Dr. Gold, you can talk directly with him, but I can facilitate if necessary, but, it's up to you.
That phone number you have, at least in the record, isn't any good. Is there a way to get in touch with him? Dr. Gold?
I'll give it to him,
Make sure he has a way to get in
Yeah.
touch with him, because that was a real issue for me.
Yeah, that's the thing, Dr. Dickey, is that, my phone doesn't take, it's a landline, and it doesn't take calls for unlisted and, non-directed numbers.
That's his cell phone.
No, but it's unlisted. You know, you know some phones are unlisted or blocked
Yeah.
for caller ID? It won't come through to my phone, it doesn't even ring. My psychiatrist says to call me from here every week, every month, and he never gets through because it's blocked and it doesn't even ring. There's nothing I can do about that. I called the phone company, I said, that is so annoying, and they're like, well, there's nothing you can do, it's technical, it's CCPIP and stuff. So they're like, they said,
Yeah, I think the problem also is that the number that's in the platings and filings is the wrong number, it's a newer number, and I did email it to both you and Dr. Gold, I'm not sure if you pulled it off the email or off the filings, but.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's a different number.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you, Ricky.
yeah, thanks a
"Shake-
lot, Ricky.
Shake my hand, Dr. Gold.
Dr.
It's a
Gold.
pleasure meeting you. I think it went better and smoother this time. I honestly, Dr. Dickey, if you've actually been the victim of sodomy or things like assault or like a police shootout, you'd probably be a lot panicky the way I was. And you're mentally well, so you don't have to deal with all the strange thoughts that go on in your head. But when you've got a diagnosis, be it autism or schizophrenia, it turns over in your head, or at least my head, over and over again. What could I have done different? Who is to blame? How can I make things different? How can I change things so they're not the same next time? Are the police still after me? Are those people who beat me up still after me? Is the rapist going to come back and kill me, or rape me again? Or see, it's stuff like that.
I get that, I understand that.
But it's the thing about me is that it turns into a constant, like, you know how they say that in dialecticism, how sometimes the big things are the little things, and the little things are the big things? It comes to the point where everything little becomes everything big, but also the big things that happen become little, meaning that everything little and big flow together, and so everything becomes the same as everything else. So I see my rapist face in every single person that I meet. Everywhere I go, where every single word like blowjob, fellatio, cunnilingus, sodomy, going down, giving head, all these words drive a huge amount of paranoia into my mind.
I get that. I get that.
But there's other words that do it too, like fight. beat up, all these words about assault, battery, just words about fighting, words about sex, words about the police.
They're
To where
triggering.
pretty soon after, because I've been mutilated and tortured too, and the victim of illegal surgical operations, they didn't sign up the script at Denver Health for a judge's order for me to get illegally surgically operated on during the prison stay. Meaning that without a judge's order presented to me, they can't perform.
No, but I think when you were taken in with the dog bites, they had to do something.
And why is that against it?
Because you were bleeding.
But why do they have the right to operate if I don't consent to it?
I don't know what the circumstances, whether they spoke with Marshall or what.
He has no right, he's not my guardian, he has no right to choose.
No, but I don't know what, I wasn't there and I don't have those reports, I don't know where they.
They will tell you I would have died without it. I would have told him it was my right to die.
That's true. I wasn't there, I don't know. But anyway, Ricky, I gotta go, so I'll be in touch.
Okay.